On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce, welcome to our Candidates Forum for the 2022 general election. This Candidates Forum features individuals running for Scottsbluff Public Schools Board of Education. This Candidates Forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce. Along with my co-chair, Don Wolf, my name is Bill Boyer, and we appreciate you joining us. We would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, as well as the Midwest Theater for hosting us today. As a reminder, there are 4 candidates running for Scottsbluff Public Schools Board of Education. In the November 8th general election, you will be allowed to vote for up to 3 candidates, and the top 3 vote getters will be elected to office. Before we meet the candidates, I would like to go over the format for this forum. First, I'd like to let you know that this forum is being recorded live and is being presented unedited. Before we began recording, candidates randomly chose the order where they were seated and be introduced. We'll begin by asking a question, and each candidate will be given 90 seconds to respond. Then there will be an optional 30-second rebuttal for each candidate following the answer. After the final question, each candidate will be allowed 1 minute for a closing statement. Then there are timers in the room, and each candidate has been informed of the format and the rules prior to tonight, and none of the questions have been given to any of the candidates in advance. Let's meet the candidates for the forum for the Scottsbluff Public Schools Board of Education. Mark Lang, Ralph Paez, Chico de los Santos, and Tori Schwartz. Mark Lang and Chico de los Santos were unable to attend tonight's forum. Per the rules, statements can be read for those candidates who are unable to attend. Chico provided us with a statement, and I will read it for you now. Hello, my name is Alicio de los Santos, Jr., Chico. First of all, I'd like to apologize for not being in attendance. I am out due to medical reasons, but would like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a graduate of Scottsbluff High School. My wife, Monica, and I have been married for 23 years. We have 4 children. 3 have graduated from Scottsbluff Public Schools, and 1 is currently attending Longfellow Elementary. I currently work in a long-term care facility and have done so for the past 20 years. I am a conservative and hold true to family values and feel that parents should have an equal say in their child's education. I enjoy volunteering and bettering our community. I am currently a Rotary member and board member of the Multicultural Youth Leadership Conference. I am running for the Board of Education because I have a personal interest in preserving and improving the quality of our school system. I feel like it's an opportunity for me to make an impact on our youth. I believe in quality education for all students. Once again, I would like to apologize for my absence. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me by email at aliciodls76@gmail.com. Now we'll begin with our questions. Our first question will be for Ralph Paez. Ralph, what prompted you to run for this position?
Well, this is I believe my third time running. This is something I hold true to myself as a person, to give back to my community. I'm really passionate about my city. I'm real passionate about the youth of this community, and I mean, in all fairness, that's what allows this great city of Scottsbluff to grow and be successful, is our youth and the town. With that being said, I mean, obviously we have to produce good quality, productive citizens, and that starts with our school system. And to be a part of that in a different aspect of besides an employee, to me that's the school board. And I just felt this calling that I felt that I need to be part of it to help add to it. I think the school system is doing a great job. I think the current school board is doing a great job. At the end of the day, things, you know, the doors gotta open and close. New blood, and I just feel real passionate to be a part of that, and want to add to that, and look forward to working with the staff of Scottsbluff Public Schools.
Tori, what prompted you to run for this position?
I am the son of school teachers. Both my parents were school teachers. My wife's a school teacher. I've been involved throughout the years on many levels, whether it's bond issues, in coaching, and many different things, policy, revisement, things within the schools. And like Ralph said, I have a huge passion for our youth as well. I do believe that with my experiences, that I do have things that I can bring to the table and some experience that I can draw on. There again, with it being a passion, it is something that I'm going to go into wholeheartedly and with full effort to contribute on any level that I can and however that might be.
Either one of you like more time on that question? Okay, we'll go to our next question then. In the past, some high school students have voiced concerns about safety, specifically over bullying. What can or should be done in regard to address this? Tori, this question's for you first.
Bullying, yeah, absolutely, a big issue in our schools these days, and I think we see it on every level, from kids in elementary school all the way up through high school. Different levels, of course. I think it needs to be addressed. My own thoughts on it is that more has to be done at home. Parenting. Our teachers and our administrators are called on these days to do so many different things. They have to be the teacher, they have to be the counselor, they have to be the nurse. They can't do it all. So we need parents to be doing their job at home so that these kids understand how they need to be treating others. It's something that certainly will go with them going forward in their lives. If I'm a jerk as an adult, certainly it started when I was a kid. So we need to have bigger support at home, and then holding these kids accountable for their actions.
Ralph, what can or should be done in regard to address this?
Can you repeat the whole question?
Yep.
Please.
In the past, some high school students have voiced concerns about safety, specifically over bullying. What can or should be done in this regard to address this?
Well, I think right now, with the situation that the world is in as a whole, I mean, bullying obviously is huge. At the end of the day, though, it's a small part of the everyday issues that our students face, that our staff faces. I mean, when it comes to safety, I think we had a prime example of that when our school was locked down just on earlier this week, and to see the reaction of the police force and the policies and locking the school down, and how the teachers and the staff administration did to handle that. I think that we're doing a great job of policies in place with the school to take care of the safety of our students, but also with the bullying. I mean, let's be honest. Today's world, you want to hear about an issue, you look on social media, and if bullying was a huge issue in Scottsbluff, I think it would be plastered all over the place, and we would see it. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because we all know it does. Some of it gets reported, some of it doesn't. But honestly, right now, I think in the situation that we're in, I think Scottsbluff Public Schools now is doing a great job with the policies in place to curb and help with bullying.
Tori, did you want to add anything there? Okay. Our next question is for you, Ralph. In general, student achievement in math and language arts were harmed during the pandemic, with test scores falling compared to pre-pandemic levels. What lessons should be taken away from what has happened, and how do we help students accelerate their learning abilities?
The pandemic kind of changed the world as we know it. I shouldn't say kind of, it did change the world as we know it. But it also opened up doors, so many doors for allowing kids and teachers to experience the learning from home, through computers, and taking advantage of technology besides just playing games or streaming a movie. Again, I mean, I probably sound like a broken record, but with what Scottsbluff Public Schools did during the pandemic at the time, we as parents, I mean, I'm sure I speak for Tori, thought it was just the worst thing ever. But you know what? They made the best of it. Our kids adapted. They were able to move forward, continue their education, and I don't know. I had 2 kids graduate last year as seniors, and I think they're doing pretty well for themselves from Scottsbluff. So more than anything, I think it just opened our eyes and opened the door for alternative ways of learning and conducting and making sure that the school day and the curriculum continues to go as every day as it can.
Tori, what lessons should be taken away from what has happened, and how do we help students accelerate their learning abilities?
I think certainly the pandemic changed a lot of things, but I also feel that education is ever changing, and it always has been. And that's due to new curriculums, technologies, whatever that might be. So we can sit here and say that the pandemic changed things. And like I said, it absolutely did. But, we need to make sure, and there again, like Ralph said, I think Scottsbluff does a very good job of this. And for that matter, all of our local area schools. But we have to make sure that we're always looking at ways to challenge our kids and continue to help them be successful. And as those things change over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever they may be, we have to make sure that we're open to looking at those resources and figuring out what the best direction that Scottsbluff needs to go with curriculum or whatever that might be.
Ralph, anything to add on that? Okay. Our next question is for you, Tori. How should school funding evolve from where we are now? Would you support switching completely to a state-funded model, and why or why not?
I don't know if I have enough knowledge on the funding to really answer that question well. That's part of who I am and what I feel needs to happen with me first if I am elected, is getting in and getting my hands wet and dirty and learning. I feel mainly, very confident, and there again, I feel that Scottsbluff does a good job of this from what I've seen. But we have to be, good stewards of whatever monies we have and wherever they come from. We have a responsibility as board members, as administrators, to make sure that we are using those funds properly, putting them to the best use, making sure we're as efficient as we can with those dollars, in the best interest of our students and facilities and of course our employees.
Ralph, how should school funding evolve from where we are now, and would you support switching completely to a state-funded model, and why or why not?
Well, it's kind of hard. I mean, at the end of the day, there's only a limited amount of money to go by, and some schools rely on state aid to function. Some schools don't. Some are private schools where their money's raised or however they choose to do it. Scottsbluff, however, has to rely on state aid. And right now, I mean, the levy's maxed. The budget is what the budget is. There is no more. You're not going to get any more. So at the end of the day, we've got to make the biggest bang for our buck. And I mean, last month, I think we went through that. We both sat in that board meeting when they talked about the budget, and I don't remember seeing any of those categories that they got any more money. It all was less, So I guess I'm excited to hopefully get the chance to get in there and work and find different ways and different methods of finding certain things, of financial support. I mean, there's a lot of grants out there. This last year, Scottsbluff, we were one of 4 districts in the entire state to get the educator shortage grant that we were able to utilize to help, pay our teachers. And one of 4 that I don't know if it's that people didn't take advantage of the grant.
Tori, anything else you want to add there? You got 30 more seconds if you want to add anything to that, Ralph. You can finish your thought there.
Well, I wasn't sure if the other districts didn't take advantage of the opportunity to get the grant, or we were just lucky enough to be selected to get it. But regardless, we did get it. We were able to use it and to help get the staff that we needed to conduct school.
You get the next question, Ralph. Governor Ricketts says girls and young women will lose the protections of Title IX if the Biden administration is able to change the definition of sex discrimination to include gender identity, sexual orientation, and sexual characteristics. How should the district handle it if and when the district faces such an issue for the first time, such as in athletics or something like that?
Well, I'm a father of 5 girls and 1 son, so I'm all for however an individual wants to believe, wants to feel. At the end of the day, our job at Scottsbluff Public Schools is to make sure that children get the best education in the most comfortable environment possible. That's our job at Scottsbluff Public Schools. I feel, as far as participation in sport, that you should participate in the gender that is on your birth certificate. That's just how I feel about that. I don't believe it's fair for a male to be able to participate with a female and vice versa. I mean, look at today. Women wrestling is becoming probably the biggest sport growing, fastest growing sport in the world. I mean, Shatter State has a women's wrestling team. Doane has, Hastings. They have women's wrestling. That's what this world is evolving to, and that's what it needs to be, in my opinion. But that's just how I feel. You should participate as you are.
Tori, how should the district handle it if or when the district would face such an issue for the first time, such as in athletics?
Like Ralph said, I also have two daughters. I've got sisters that were athletic, played sports all the way through. So I'm a big believer in gender equity. Those opportunities that males are presented should absolutely be offered to females as well. I also am a big believer in an individual playing in the sport, men's or women's, that they were born with. And there again, Ralph said it best with what you were on your birth certificate. I think it's very evident the advantages that come to the forefront, especially in athletics, when perhaps a male gender switch, or however we need to say that, goes to the female side and dominates and has very evident advantages physically. So I'm all in favor of, there again, opportunities for all, but maybe that means creating another division for certain people to play in, if that's what needs to happen. But I do feel that we need to protect those opportunities for the kids.
Okay, Ralph, anything you want to add there? All right. Ralph, this question's for you first. I've heard both of you say multiple times Scottsbluff Public Schools are doing a great job. The Board of Education is doing a great job. What do you think is the biggest issue or two that's facing the Board of Education over the next year or two?
Well, I think, you read it in the papers everywhere. Omaha Public Schools having problems of teachers quitting, leaving. So, it's staffing, and not just teachers, but even the maintenance side. I'm a firm believer, and honestly, I think that our teachers are overworked, underpaid. That's just what it is, in my opinion. Recruitment and retention is the biggest things that we're going to face in the future. We got to figure out, we got to have a budget for recruitment, but then we have to have retention. We got to have some type of retention recognition to keep people here. Tori said it earlier, but schools are being called upon to do so much more than that they have been previously in years past, from when we were in school and any of us. Our teachers having to put up with so much, and it's kind of driving them away. It's a fear factor, and we need to figure out how we're going to do that. But we need to reward them, but not only to get the best teachers to want to come here, but to keep the teachers that we have here. It's stressful. I see it. I've talked to teachers. I have many friends within the school district. It's hard to go home and have to be with your family and not be upset with what you experienced during the day. So we have to figure out a way to make sure that these teachers are being compensated for what they're being asked to do. So back to the original question is,
We'll give you some time here at the end again. Tori, what do you think is the biggest issue or two facing the Scottsbluff Public Schools in the next year or two?
Yeah, I would also say employee retention. We're seeing shortages across the board, across the state, nationally, with shortages of teachers, and there again, even to the extent of that can be admin, that can be janitorial, whatever that is. So I think it is huge that we find a way to make these, our employees feel valued and not overworked. There again, going back to my wife that's a school teacher, she comes home every night and she'll sit at the kitchen table for another 2 hours, and she leaves work at 5. So I know what they go through, and we need to just make sure that we're creating a positive work environment. They feel valued, they're not overworked, they have time to plan. And some of those things, like Ralph said, or he mentioned, maybe it is a 4-day work week. Maybe it's a half a day on a Friday. I don't know what those solutions are, but I think going forward, we're really going to have to be cognizant of these kinds of solutions. Otherwise, I think that shortage is just going to get worse and worse.
Ralph, you have some more time here if you need it.
so yeah, again, back to me, the biggest things are recruitment and retention. Is going to be the biggest problems that we're going to face in the future. Talking with administration, one of the biggest things is the starting wage hasn't kept up with the times. Teachers are able to grow their salary, for the longevity that they've been here. But the starting wage, it's going to take somebody coming out of college. It's going to take them a ways to get money, to build up a wage to really live comfortably and pay off their debts. So we got to figure out a way to help that.
Tori, anything else you want to add? Okay, you get our last question, and then we'll get to closing statements. Tori, at the end of a 4-year term, if you're elected, how would you define success?
People say keeping up with the Joneses, and I'd say keeping up with the times and making sure that we are moving progressively forward in, whether that's curriculum, it's teacher recruitment, it's, retention. You can throw facilities into that. We need to make sure we're keeping up with facilities and keeping them safe, updated, and moving forward into the future. There again, going back to the budget, I think that's a big thing, making sure we're good stewards of our monies and planning appropriately for the future while we are still focusing on the current needs and making sure those are being met, all while being prudent with our dollars and good stewards of our taxpayer monies or state-funded dollars, whatever that may be.
Ralph, at the end of a 4-year term, if you're elected, how would you define success?
Well, I guess I'm looking at that a little different than Tori here. I guess being a success for me is knowing that I'm still contributing to the board and bringing stuff to the table, putting forth an effort that I'm contributing to the rest of the school board. Building a great relationship with administration and faculty from all the way to the top, and that's maintenance, facilities, that's all of them. And I guess really is that's going to mark a success for me is knowing that I've served 4 years, I put my time in, and that I want to rerun. I want to continue. I want to do another 4. That's what's going to define making it a success for me.
Anything else either one of you'd like to add? Okay, Ralph, you're up next, so you get time for a closing statement here as we wrap up.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank the Government Affairs Committee, the Scottsbluff Chamber of Commerce, Bill Boyer, KDB, for putting us on and allowing us to even come here and expose ourselves to what we bring to the table for this position. I really look forward to contributing to the great job that the Scottsbluff School Board is already doing. I look forward to building a relationship with administration, the teachers, the maintenance facility guys, the coaches, students, and anybody else I come across and get the pleasure of meeting if I'm elected to serve on this board. It's been a lifelong dream for me to be here, and I just hope I get the opportunity to serve on this. So I ask for your votes to help me get on here and elect and let me work for you.
Tori, you get an opportunity here for a closing statement.
I would also thank you for the time and effort that you guys put in being here today. You know, like I said before, I am passionate about our youth. I've been involved in many various things throughout the years. I'm a big believer in servant leadership, and that's why I'm here. You know, somebody's done it for my kids. They did it for me when I was in high school. Here's an opportunity for me to give back, and I do believe that it's something that I can contribute to in a very positive way. I plan on being hands-on, you know, getting in there, as Ralph said, you know, getting into the classroom and seeing teachers teach and interacting with the kids and making sure that I'm all in on this. But like I said, I do believe that I can contribute in a positive way. I'll put in the time and the effort to do so, and I hope that would be evident by just by us being here, obviously. But so there again, I thank you for consideration, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you, gentlemen. We would like to thank our candidates running for Scottsbluff Public Schools Board of Education for participating in our forum. We hope that this helps you in deciding who you wish to vote for. As a reminder, in the November 8th general election, you will be allowed to vote for 3 candidates, and the top 3 vote getters will be elected to the office. This candidates forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gehring United Chamber of Commerce. We again would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, the timers for volunteering, the chamber staff, the Midwest Theater for hosting us as well. On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gehring United Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee and for my co-chair Don Wolf, I'm Bill Boyer. Thank you again for joining us, and remember, get out and vote.